The Farmall 560. On a 10-acre farm, you need the tractor that shows up every season, no drama, no surprises. On acreage, uptime beats horsepower. The Farmall 560 has that old iron reputation, steady power, simple controls, and enough weight to feel planted on a hill. It's the kind of tractor that can mow, pull a blade, run an auger, and still have something left. Many are still working today because they were built to be repaired, not replaced, and the parts and know-how are still out there, year after year. International Harvester introduced the Farmall 560 for the 1958 model year and built it through 1963, aiming it at farms that wanted a step up in capability. In period terms, it was a 5-plow tractor, and the working numbers support that reputation, roughly 54 drawbar horsepower and about 59 PTO horsepower, backed by Nebraska test numbers. Parts catalogs remain deep, and shop manuals are easy to find. Under the hood, most Farmall 560 tractors carried the IHC 263 inline 6, 263 cubic inches of smooth, low-stress power in gasoline or LP form. IH also offered a larger diesel option, giving owners the choice between easy cold starts and lower fuel cost per hour. In Nebraska tests, the diesel version delivered about 59.5 PTO horsepower at rated speed while using around 4.1 gallons per hour, efficiency for a tractor that can run a mower, baler, auger, or grinder mixer without feeling strained. Where the 560 really earns its keep on a 10-acre place is utility. With an independent 540 revolutions per minute PTO, you can manage implements safely. And the torque amplifier transmission, 10 forward and 2 reverse, lets you drop speed under load without a full clutch shift. That matters when you hit heavy grass, wet ground, or a tough pull with a box blade. The tractor keeps pulling smoothly instead of fighting you. Durability is part design and part support. The 560's straightforward layout makes service realistic for an owner. Fluids, filters, ignition or fuel settings, brake adjustments, and hydraulic checks. And because so many were built, the aftermarket still supplies common wear items, from engine parts and seals to torque amplifier components, so keeping one going is usually a parts order, not a treasure hunt. For a 10-acre farm, the Farmall 560 may be more tractor than you strictly need, but that overbuild margin is exactly why it can be so reliable. You're not running it at the edge of its ability, and it tends to reward you with long, steady years of work. There's a certain calm to a Farmall 6-cylinder at work, an even tone, a measured pace, and the feeling that the job is under control. If you want reliability you can hear and trust, the 560 is the kind of tractor that turns chores into routine, and routine into tradition, worth passing down. The Allis-Chalmers D17. On a 10-acre farm, reliability matters more than bragging rights. You want a tractor that starts on a cool morning, mows all afternoon, and still has the strength to pull a blade down your lane before supper. That's why the Allis-Chalmers D17 still earns respect today. Simple steel, honest power, and the kind of durability that keeps working long after the paint fades. Many are still in daily use because owners can service them with basic tools and find parts without a hunt at fair cost. The D17 was built from 1957 to 1967, when Allis-Chalmers was chasing practical horsepower for family farms. For a 10-acre setup, it lands in a usable range, roughly 50 to 60 horsepower depending on engine and year, with enough weight to put that power to work. What makes it a reliable acres eater is the drivetrain and the way it was designed to be maintained. Many models use the power director, a hand-controlled high/low unit that lets you adjust ground speed without losing your rhythm. When you hit thick grass or a soft spot, you can drop into low, keep the engine pulling smoothly, and avoid the shock loads that break parts over time. Add live 540 PTO, and you can stop or slow while your mower, tiller, or baler keeps turning. Safer for you, easier on the machine. Under the hood you'll see straightforward, old-school engineering, simple fuel and ignition systems on gas models, and a strong, steady diesel option for owners who want thrift and torque. In real use, that means sensible fuel consumption for a tractor of its size, especially when you run it at the correct RPM. Allis also offered its traction booster system, which helps manage draft load and reduce wheel slip when you're doing ground-engaging work like a small plow or cultivator. Less slip means less heat, less tire wear, and less strain, benefits that add up over years. Parts availability is one reason the D17 refuses to disappear. Because so many were built, there's a deep used parts network, plus aftermarket support for the basics, filters, seals, ignition parts, clutch items, and hydraulic components. And when something does need attention, the layout is approachable. You can reach what you need, diagnose by sound and feel, and fix problems before they become expensive failures. For a 10-acre farm, mowing pastures, grading a driveway, running a box blade, or moving material with loader, the D17 offers dependable capability with a proven track record. Built to be fixed, not replaced, long. There's a comfort in an orange tractor that's already done the hard years. The D17 isn't about flash, it's about showing up. If you care for it, it will care for your land, and that's why these old Allis machines still earn a spot on small American farms. And it sounds like home while it works. The John Deere 3020. If you run a 10-acre farm, you need a tractor that starts every morning, pulls steady, and doesn't ask for much. The John Deere 3020 has that calm, dependable feel, like an old neighbor who always shows up. Decades later, you still see them working hay, moving snow, and grading lanes because they were built to last and kept simple on purpose. For small acreage owners, that kind of trust is everything. It lets you focus on the farm, not the repairs. The 3020 arrived in the heart of John Deere's new generation era and was built from 1964 through 1972. It was made for real chores, day after day, without being oversized for smaller operations. For a 10-acre place, that balance matters, enough muscle for a mower, baler, blade, or loader work, yet still nimble in tight barnyards. Under the hood, many owners favor the 4-cylinder diesel, known for strong low RPM torque and long service life. Expect around 70 horsepower at the PTO, plenty for a 6-foot to 8-foot rotary cutter, a square baler, or a heavy box blade. Fuel economy is part of the appeal, too. Run it at working RPM, and it sips fuel for its size. One reason these tractors earned a most reliable reputation is their closed-center hydraulic system. It delivers responsive loader and steering performance without feeling sluggish, and it holds up well when maintained. Many units were equipped with an independent PTO and 540 over 1000 RPM options, letting one tractor handle a wide range of implements. Transmission choices helped as well. The Synchro range gives you straightforward, dependable gears, while the optional power shift, when cared for, makes mowing and loader work smoother with quick speed changes, especially when you're turning at the end of a row. Durability shows up in the details, a heavy chassis, wet disc brakes, and a layout that's serviceable for the hands-on owner. Parts support is another big advantage. Because the 3020 sold in strong numbers and shares family DNA with other Deere models, you can still find filters, seals, hydraulic components, and sheet metal through dealers, aftermarket suppliers, and salvage yards across the United States. For a 10-acre farm, the 3020 fits the one-tractor plan nicely. It can cut grass, handle light tillage, run a post-hole digger, pull a wagon, and push snow without feeling delicate. Give it clean fuel, fresh fluids, and a little respect, and it will return the favor for years. There's a reason folks smile when a 3020 rolls by. It sounds like honest work and a simpler time. On a small farm, reliability isn't a luxury, it's peace of mind. And the John Deere 3020 still delivers that quiet confidence, one steady day at a time. That's why it's still here now. The Ford 4000. If you run a 10-acre farm, you don't need the biggest tractor at the auction. You need the one that starts, pulls, and stays ready week after week. The Ford 4000 has that quiet, dependable reputation. It's the kind of machine that makes you breathe easier because it doesn't ask for much, just fuel, oil, and a little respect. That's why, 50+ years later, you still see them mowing pastures, grading driveways, and moving hay like they never got the memo to retire. It fits small acreage well. Ford introduced the 4000 in the mid-1960s as part of its 1000 series, and it remained in production into the mid-1970s. It was built for the working family farm, strong enough for real field chores, yet compact and nimble around barns, gates, and tight lanes. Most Ford 4000 tractors you'll see today are the later 3-cylinder models, often with a diesel engine prized for low RPM torque and sensible fuel use. Depending on year and setup, you're generally in the mid-50s horsepower range at the engine, right in the comfort zone for a 10-acre operation. That's enough to run a 5 to 6 foot rotary cutter, pull a box blade, power an auger for fence posts, drag a harrow, or haul firewood without feeling overmatched. Reliability is where the 4000 shines. The drivetrain is straightforward, the cooling system is sturdy, and the chassis has a stable stance on uneven ground. Many were ordered with the practical 8-speed dual-range transmission, giving you slow working gears for the field and a higher road gear for getting back to the shed. On the PTO side, you will commonly find 540 revolutions per minute, and many units have live or independent PTO, important for mowing, because the implement can keep turning even when you clutch. Day-to-day ownership is also why this tractor keeps showing up on most reliable lists. Service points are accessible, and the design is friendly to an owner with basic tools. Parts availability remains strong thanks to the large number sold and aftermarket support, filters, clutches, steering components, hydraulic seals, and electrical pieces are easy to source. Add in the standard 3-point hitch, and the Ford 4000 stays compatible with modern implements, which matters more on small acreage than having the newest electronics. In plain terms, on a 10-acre farm, the Ford 4000 gives you enough power to work, enough manners to handle chores, and the kind of durability that lets you plan your day around the weather, not around breakdowns. When folks talk about reliable, they're really talking about peace of mind. The Ford 4000 delivers that in a straightforward, old-school package. That familiar diesel note and blue paint still means something. Find a well-kept one, and it can be the steady heartbeat of a 10-acre farm for years to come. The Massey Ferguson 165. If you're caring for 10 acres, the right tractor isn't the biggest one on the lot. It's the one that shows up every weekend and never makes a fuss. The Massey Ferguson 165 gives that first impression of solid iron and simple purpose. For mowing, dragging a driveway blade, moving round bales, or pulling a small disc, it feels sized just right. It still earns a place today because it was built to be repaired, not replaced, and owners keep them running because they keep paying back. The MF165 was introduced during Massey Ferguson's 100 series era and built from 1964 into the mid-1970s, a time when tractors were expected to do real work all day with very little complaint. That heritage matters on a 10-acre farm, where one machine often has to mow in summer, grade lanes after a storm, lift and stack hay, and still be ready for a weekend repair job. Most reliable examples are powered by the Perkins 4-cylinder diesel. It's not fancy, but it's steady and torquey, exactly what you want when the grass is thick or the ground is a little heavy. Figure roughly 50 PTO horsepower and a standard 540 revolutions per minute PTO, enough to handle a 6-foot rotary cutter, a finish mower, a post hole digger, a small square baler, or a 2-bottom plow in reasonable soil. Because the engine makes useful torque without screaming, Fuel use stays sensible when you run it in the mid-range and let the tractor pull. Transmission choices varied, and many 165s came with multi-power, which gives a practical on-the-move high/low split. That feature sounds simple, but it's valuable. You can ease down in soft spots or on a hill and keep your PTO speed more consistent, which helps mowers and balers do cleaner work. The hydraulics and three-point hitch are straightforward and capable for this size class, making implement changes quick and predictable. Reliability is also about serviceability, and the 165 is refreshingly honest. There are no complicated electronics, just mechanical systems you can see, reach, and understand. Keep clean fuel in it, change the oil, watch the cooling system, and stay on top of grease points, and these tractors tend to run for decades. Parts availability remains a major advantage. Filters, seals, clutches, brakes, and steering components are widely supported through aftermarket suppliers, Massey dealers, and salvage yards. In short, the MF165 is reliable because it was engineered for farm life, simple, durable, and forgiving. There's comfort in the way a 165 settles into its working rhythm, steady exhaust, steady pull, and no surprises. If you want a dependable tractor for a 10-acre place, this Massey still proves that reliability is not a trend. The Oliver 1650. When you're caring for a 10-acre farm, you don't need the biggest tractor on the county line. You need one that starts when the frost is on the fence and keeps pulling after lunch. That's why the Oliver 1650 still earns respect today. Simple, strong, and sized just right for mowing, tilling, baling, and loader work without feeling oversized or fragile. It's still out there doing it. On 10 acres, dependability is everything. The Oliver 1650 arrived in the mid-1960s, built in Charles City, Iowa, during a time when farmers demanded real horsepower but also demanded common-sense serviceability. Produced from 1964 through 1969, it was designed as a row crop workhorse, nimble enough to fit a smaller operation, yet stout enough to handle serious implements. Under the hood, you'll find a smooth 6-cylinder Waukesha Oliver engine, offered in gasoline or diesel. In real farm terms, you're looking at roughly 66 horsepower at the PTO, plenty for a 6-foot rotary cutter, a square baler, a pull-type rake, a 2 to 3 bottom plow in the right soil, or a loader moving gravel and manure. The torque comes on steady, not jumpy, which is exactly what you want when you're creeping along a fence line or easing into a windrow. For fuel economy, many owners favored the diesel version, especially for long mowing days. But the bigger reliability story is that the 1650 doesn't rely on fussy electronics. It's mechanical, straightforward, and forgiving, built for cold mornings, dusty summers, and years of just one more job before quitting time. A signature feature is Oliver's Hydropower 2-speed unit on many tractors, letting you shift under load without stopping, handy when you hit a tough patch of ground or climb a grade with a wagon. Add power steering, solid brakes, and a strong 3-point hitch, and you've got a tractor that feels comfortable for an older operator, predictable controls, good visibility, and a balanced stance. Durability is also helped by sensible weight. Around 7,800 pounds before ballast, the 1650 puts power to the ground without beating up your pasture or making every turn feel like a wrestling match. Parts support remains surprisingly practical because Oliver shares lineage with later white tractors, and there's a deep aftermarket plus strong salvage availability. In short, easy to maintain, affordable to keep running, and capable of doing nearly every job a 10-acre farm will throw at it. There's a quiet comfort in an Oliver 1650, the steady 6-cylinder note, the honest paint, the feeling that it was built to last, not to impress. On a 10-acre farm, that kind of old-school reliability isn't nostalgia. It's peace of mind, one season at a time. And that's why so many are still working. Before we wrap up, let's recap this dependable lineup: the Allis-Chalmers D17, Farmall 560, Ford 4000, John Deere 3020, Massey Ferguson 165, and Oliver 1650. For a 10-acre farm, reliability isn't about fancy features, it's about starting on cold mornings, pulling steady in the field, and staying ready when the work can't wait. If you've run one of these tractors, share your hours, repairs, and real-world lessons in the comments. And if you're shopping, tell us what chores you need covered: mowing, grading, hauling, or loader work. If this helped, give it a like, subscribe for more classic, proven machines, and I'll see you in the next video.